Hey, it's Lomentini lit up, and here is what I'm lit up about. I lit up because it's the end of this freaking 2023, and I'm still here and I'm winning. I told you guys months ago, back in June and July, that this is a terrible football game, and I was going to win this football game, and I am winning this football game, and the fourth quarter is ticking down, and I'm ahead. I won. I didn't let it beat me. All of you out there that counted me out, all of you out there that wished my demise, all of you out there that wished me dead, I'm not. I'm still here, and I'm still pushing forward, and I'm going to continue to win. That's what winners do. You know, we talked about how my story, amongst like other people's stories, are just sad if you give up, right? They're just sad stories if you give up. Let's say I give up. Let's use me as an example, okay? Because I was labeled an alcoholic. I was labeled I'm not good enough. I was labeled I was this and that. I was labeled all of these things because of what happened. I was labeled and I was identified and that was who Patrick was in that moment. That's Patrick. Now, if I would have just gave up, that's who would know any different? Poor Patrick, the alcoholic. Poor Patrick, the guy that was never good enough for his wife. Poor Patrick, the guy that, just couldn't get it together. Poor Patrick. All of these things in his past that he's dealing with. Poor Patrick. It would have just been a sad story. Oh, you remember that guy that went all over the country and did all those haircuts and raised all that money and awareness for homeless animals and dogs? Do you remember that guy? Oh, yeah. He took his life. He gave up. He ended up being an alcoholic. Yeah, that's what people said. That's what she said. Yeah, he was just this and that. Now, if I would have given up, that's exactly who I would have been. But I'm not. It didn't define me. That moment, like moments in everybody's life, we all fail, we all stumble, we all have issues. But it doesn't define you. It will define you if you give up. And that's the point. I didn't give up. I don't know how I got through it other than that it was the hand of God on every step of the way. He had a better plan. He interrupted my life and he said, dude, you're going the wrong direction. I've got something better for you. But it would have been a sad story had I just gave up, right? Which is what I tried to do back on March 19th. I stuck a knife in my neck and tried to kill myself and tried to end it all because my wife left me and I made a mistake in January and there's no closure and she just left and got this crazy lawyer and just crucified me while I was in recovery. And I'm sitting there for almost 4 months just staring at these walls with all these other people trying to get through it, thinking about how I'm going to get through it, but contemplating, praying, reading the Bible, doing all these things. And had I given up during that period of time, everything she'd done was justified because Patrick was this and Patrick was that. But I'm not this and I'm not that. I'm Patrick. I'm Patrick that did do the Barcade 50 States tour and traveled the entire country 7 years in a row, lived like a gypsy out of my van, did something that nobody in this world can ever say that they ever did. Ever. I did the haircut-a-thon back in 2010 or 11. I can't even remember. It's been so long. Where I did 227 haircuts in 3 days. Nobody in this world can say they did that. Those are the things that make Patrick and define Patrick. Patrick is that guy that's going to do things that nobody else has done. That's why it identifies him, and Patrick loves being Patrick. And that was the whole problem over all of these years of that marriage, is that I was not able to be Patrick. I kind of gave up. And so there came the alcohol. It almost became like that numbness. And that's typical what happens with alcohol, right? Right? We all have some issues, so we all reach for that alcohol. Thank God I didn't reach for anything else. I don't do those kind of things. I don't do drugs or anything like that. Never did, really. And so it became kind of a habitual thing because I was just in a mental state of, I'm just not worthy. I'm just not good enough for this. And when someone tells you that for over a period of time, you start to believe it. And then you start getting down and then you don't believe in the person that you were, the person that I just defined a minute ago about the person that does all of these things on a huge level, on a huge stage that nobody else in the world can say that they ever did. That was that person. That's that person. But I was no longer that person. I had given up. And that becomes the sad story if you let it sit there. So I heard this great sermon in church, and I love Crosspoint TV Church. If you ever guys get a chance and want to see it online, Kevin Queen's amazing. Go online and watch one of their sermons. It's on at 9 and 11 on Sunday. I think they have them recorded. You can even watch them. But one of the things that they were talking about is being interrupted. And sometimes God will interrupt, destroy. And I mentioned this once before in another podcast where God will ruin all of your plans so that he can mold you into the person that he intended you to be. He will interrupt your life. Look at all of the stories in the Bible, all of the major stories in the Bible, and each one of those characters' lives were interrupted because God needed them for something else. He interrupted their life. Look at Mary. Mary was a virgin. And I'm not sitting here to be a pastor and know the story so very well, but this is one of the stories that he told. Mary was a virgin to be married to Joseph. God interrupted her life and told her, "You're going to be carrying my son, the savior of mankind." Talk about interruption. So look at the interruption in Patrick's life that kept him from being defined as an alcoholic, because it wasn't the alcohol. It was the noise in my head that told me I wasn't good enough. Thank you, therapy. That's why I believe in it, man. Everybody should go through it. Everybody. There's so many people walking this earth with heavy issues and problems. They need to talk to someone, but they can't talk to somebody. And the people that need to talk to someone can't afford it. It's just this big, gigantic mess out there in this world that we're living in right now. But think about that interruption for Mary. Think about that interruption for Joseph. He's getting married to a virgin, and now he is getting married to someone that's already, now that person is pregnant, and what do you think people around town are going to talk about now? Wow. Do you think he was defined? Do you think the people out there running around the world back in the days were like, "Do you see what's going on with Mary and Joseph? Oh my God, she's pregnant. I wonder who the guy was." Yeah, you know how they are. You know how people are. And that's exactly what happened to me. Not, pregnant or anything like that, but the definition in the interruption. So the best way I can describe what happened was January 29th, an unfortunate situation, and I still can't believe that I would do such a thing. But that was the interruption that God needed for me to change my life, on top of the big interruption that was coming back in March. So January 29th happened. No, it's over. I couldn't deal with it. I didn't have the mental tools to deal with such a situation. Being discarded, being left behind, being crucified, being defined, being just betrayed. That was the one that got me the most, where I stuck the fucking knife in my neck because I couldn't handle that level of betrayal. All of my secrets, all of the stuff that I shared, all of that stuff gone out there for everybody to dissect and define Patrick, because this person said this about Patrick and it has to be true, right? It's like social media. It's out there. It's got to be true. No, it wasn't true. But the ultimate interruption was Patrick sticking the knife in his neck, because Patrick's life was not right. For years, for various reasons that I've already described, it wasn't right, and it needed interrupted. God destroyed my plans, and he has molded me and is continuing to mold me into the person that he intended me to be. And that person right now is a person that's out there, going to be out there, pushing and helping people understand anxiety, helping people understand depression, and helping people get through suicidal ideas. Because suicide is not the answer. There's a lot of organizations out there, a lot of nonprofits. I have been diving deep into the whole area of suicide. And here's what's really interesting. There's a lot of people out there in the speaking market, right? Public speaking market. And especially in the recovering alcoholics or the addicts, recovering addicts, and their story and their testimony of how they got through it and all this stuff and what changed in their life and when their why got bigger than their need or their want. Why was bigger than the want. But nobody's out there really talking about suicide. And I'm gonna pull the veil up. I'm gonna pull it up, because people look at suicide in a shameful, dirty, you're not okay way. I had a guy at the grocery store, saw the scar on my neck, and he said, dude, that's a gnarly scar. Where'd you get that? I'm like, why not tell him the truth right now? When I told him what happened, you could see the dude melt. You could see the guy just want to recoil, didn't want to have any more conversation with me because he didn't know how to handle it. He didn't know what to say. What do you say to somebody that says, you know what, see this? I tried to kill myself. And I'm here to tell you it ain't right. I'm here to tell you that I went from suicide to salvation. Let me share the journey with you so that you will never have to go down that road ever yourself. That's the point, is to be comfortable talking about something that's uncomfortable. And suicide is uncomfortable for a lot of people. But it's very cool to talk about alcohol recovery, very cool to be recovering from drugs and being an addict, because it's almost kind of chic about it. It's almost cool. Look at all the celebrities. Drew Barrymore getting on her show like, I used to drink forever and I gave it up, and made a big to-do on her show. And everybody's up there clapping and talking about that stuff. How about the suicide survivors? How about the people that think about taking their life every day because they can't handle what's going on in their life right now? When you got people that are telling them they're not worthy, people they're just not fitting in life, people that are bullying them, and they just want to end it. Because I have found that people that are calling a text line or calling an anonymous number and they're saying, I don't feel right, I think I want to take my life. I just truly believe that they're looking for help. Because suicide's not planned. It's not, yeah, it is kind of planned because I kind of went through that process myself, but the actual moment where you stick something or do something to yourself, it's not planned. Do you think I planned what I did in March 19th? No. March 19th was a disaster, unplanned disaster. And at the end, I thought, put the knife in my neck. And thank God that those officers that saved me were trained in such trauma. Think about it. I don't even remember any of it. Knife in the neck, bleeding out. You got 7 pints of blood. I lost 6. Apparently a helicopter came and got me and took me to Vanderbilt. I don't even remember that. All part of this football game that I've been telling you about in 2023 that I have won. Can you believe it? January, March, and all of the crap in between. The loss of friends. The loss of some family. The loss of some business. But God replaced all of that because he interrupted my life because he had something better for me. He's like, Patrick, I'm going to mold you into the person that you were intended to be. And I've already described to you who that person is. It's that person that does things that other people don't do. And that one thing right now is saving other lives by helping people get through what I went through without having to do what I did. That's it. And it's a lifelong mission now. Amongst everything else that I do, real estate, still doing well, hair, building the business, and all of the people that I lost from hair has been replaced. Friends, my circle's tighter now. And those people that are in my life, I'm fine with who's in my life. I don't necessarily need more, but if that does grow, it grows, and it grows the right way, it grows organically, and it's amazing. Social media following has been amazing. People reaching out to me, asking me questions about my life and my recovery, it's been amazing. I've been as transparent and accountable to you guys as I possibly could. I kind of backed off of that a little bit because you know what? I don't owe anybody anything. And that's the beautiful thing. After all I've been through, all of the punishment, all of the turmoil, all the recovery, I don't owe anybody anything. And I'm not going to ever owe anybody anything. I owe people love. I owe people my caring and my understanding. We're not talking about that kind of stuff. I've paid my dues. If I've been punished beyond any punishment a government can give me, the whole situation with her and myself is now finalized. And 2024, it will all just kind of wash away. What happened to me in March, that process is moving forward. It'll all be done in 2024. And I'm still here, able to do a podcast in this amazing podcast room. I have a place to live. I have a car, and I have wonderful things in my life that have been there, but they're there in a more vivid way. Does that make sense? Crystal clear way. Friendships that are just crystal clear, and some friendships that are just muddy still. So I just ignore them. I'm moving on because they weren't what I thought they were. You have something like what I just went through, and you'll find out real fast. You don't even have to go to that extreme to find out who's really in your life. Because the people in my life, everybody's going to get paid. That's my commitment. 2024, I shared with you guys once before. I didn't go into detail about what my closure is, but I will have my closure with the situation with her in 2024, my version of closure, because there hasn't been a closure. There hasn't been a conversation. We'll probably never, ever talk again, but I miss all of that, but everybody's going to get paid. My friends, those close to me, and I will have closure with her. And just everybody's going to be happy and just move forward, and everybody's got a new life to live. That's my commitment. That's what's going on, man. And I'm super excited about that. And I kind of got jazzed up for this whole talk about recovering and getting through what you're going through. I've got another year. It's kind of like, overtime in the football game, but all I got to do is kick a field goal. It's over. It's over. I love this. It's over. And I've never been so excited about anything in my life. There's been a lot of things I've been excited about, but I'm more excited about the fact that that whole situation, 2023, is ticking down and it's over. It's been defined. The only thing that's not over is the closure, and that closure will happen in 2024. I don't know if it's 3 months, 6 months, or this time next year, but it will happen. Everybody's getting paid. Very excited about that. Okay, so Lomatini lit up. We had some interviews, you guys. I hope you guys saw the interview with Jamie. If you don't, I'll make sure that it's up. Got more interviews. 2024 is looking fantastic. You guys, I love you. And I'm glad my story is not just a sad story. I'm glad my story is not just a sad story because I did not give up.